Movie Holics! What up, guys? I'm Kyler Wilson.
I'm Monica Kasuri.
And this is another episode of The Before.
The After.
And The After. Hateful Eight, mother...
Are going to the movies cause it's motherfucking cold outside.
We're essentially going to, I will consider this a midnight showing.
It's a midnight showing.
But it's actually only a 10:40 showing. But it's 20 plus minutes of previews and a 3-hour film. It might as well be a midnight showing for a 2-hour film. That's the way I look at it. We're going to see the Hateful Eight, the infamous Hateful Eight that was not going to be made because the script got leaked, and he was so pissed off. And
I forgot all about that.
Yep. And now he's pissed off because the actual screener got leaked. Not sure if you heard about that, but
No.
yeah, the screener of this got leaked online on all these different torrent sites, and yeah, it's a big stink
Whoever
right
keeps
now.
leaking this shit, just stop, please. Like, this is getting really annoying now.
You know, the thing about it is like there's no even, as far as I know, there's no financial benefit to doing it. Like,
There really isn't.
At
It's
least
like,
you're making
what do
money.
you get from doing it?
It's just you're just fucking with people.
But I guess if you are a legitimate fan of movies and stuff in general, then you wouldn't,
You don't participate in that
you
shit.
don't
anyway.
participate. We don't participate in that
participate in
stuff
that
because it's stupid and it ruins our viewing experience.
I will admit that I have downloaded movies that I own that I could not rip. But that was a long time ago anyway. So, that being said, Hateful Eight, what do we know? All-star cast,
Yeah,
Quentin Tarantino.
It's a Western.
It's his eighth film?
Yes. The eighth film.
This is the eighth film.
Yes.
Not his eighth directing thing, because he's done collaboration projects with people, as co-director and whatnot, but his eighth written and directed film.
Yeah.
So funny enough, this takes place shortly after the Civil War. Django took place shortly before the Civil War, which was not something that I remembered until I watched it again last night, and it's like a couple years before the Civil War. I'm like, well, that's interesting. I wonder if there's, I doubt there's any like serious connection, but you got to think that we're going to be seeing at least one or two characters who maybe didn't even have any words in the first film. You know what I mean?
Oh, surprise! Wait, do you think Samuel L's character is the old man? No, it's backwards.
Definitely
My bad. That'd be hilarious.
Yep, definitely.
See a backstory on that man.
But it's interesting that supposedly somebody was able to figure out that this, like, Django took place inside of the same universe as Pulp Fiction and everything, and somehow or another it's all connected in some way.
I don't put it past it to be connected in some way, shape, or form.
So just like he did, Kill Bill with Pulp Fiction, that one blows everybody's mind every time we talk about it. Anyways, I'm excited to see it.
I rewatched the preview of it today, and I was so intrigued by the preview. I got so mad when a hairstylist was like, "Did they call my name on the intercom?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Stop asking me. I'm trying to watch this preview." Did they call my name? And I'm sitting here holding the phone just like this, watching this damn preview for this movie again. Did they call my name over the intercom? Huh? I'm like, I'm trying to watch this preview.
So, I think it is a fantastic film.
I love it.
I do have a couple gripes, one technical and one story related, so I'll save it for the discussion, so as not to give away any spoilers. But beautifully shot, beautifully shot, well executed. The acting is so on point that it's stupid.
I didn't expect any less with the acting, honestly.
Yeah, it wowed me as a going back to what I was talking about with that dude who said that Death Proof didn't have artistic vision.
Right.
It's like, if you look at this and say that there was an artistic vision,
There's
something's really wrong with you. I'm not sure that there's really a whole lot more to say in this after segment. It's a great film. We didn't see it in 70 millimeter, and I can see why it would have been really awesome in 70 millimeter, because like, especially all those landscape shots like at the very beginning would have just been so massive. But it's long. If I've got to give it any criticism, it's not like unnecessarily long, right?
Right.
But it is long, so you'll be prepared.
I don't know. I think that's what I like about Tarantino movies in general, and what I especially really liked about this one is that it's almost like reading a book.
Yeah.
There's so much, and like dialogue itself, I think people forget that when you read a book, dialogue is one of the biggest parts. People have just rando conversations and conversations that pertain to other things. And I think that's what I really liked about this, is that
and
the
that's
story
what he's known
was just,
for.
yeah, and I just really liked it.
All right, so we've sat on it for a day. We were gonna do the discussion last night, but man,
a day,
it was
more like
12
hours.
12 hours. So yeah, we were gonna do it last night, but golly, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning when we got home. Or almost 3 o'clock. It was like 2:30. It was late. So,
and y'all know how I tend to yawn, so it probably would have been a yawn party, even though I enjoyed this movie.
Exactly. So let's go. Let's just jump right into the previews. Most of these we've seen. So Captain America, I think we're both in agreement, is probably going to be fun, right?
It'll be fun.
Hail Caesar. This is an interesting one. New Coen Brothers film.
I don't know what to think.
I know, right? I'm like, man, there's a part of me that wants to see it.
And there's a part of me that doesn't. And I'm scared I'm scared I'm not going to get the humor. Because
well,
to
Coen
me,
Brothers are like that, And
so I don't know if I'm going to really feel like I'm really going to enjoy it. Like, I feel like there was so much going on in the preview itself. It was just like,
man, I can tell you.
what is this?
I got to give George Clooney some credit for the way he looks, though, as the actor. I'm like, God, you look literally like you stepped out of the 40s. Like, straight up, looks perfect. I'll probably skip it at the theater, but I can see myself watching this at home for sure.
Yeah.
On DVD.
Just
maybe
it
DVD.
seemed like you kind of went a little behind the scenes with, as far as films and settings and things like that.
So yeah,
I think it might be fun, but not movie theater fun.
Yeah, I think movie theater might be a bit much. I don't know. We'll see what happens when it comes out. If there's nothing out, maybe. All right. The Nice Guys, which I did share the trash on. I think this movie looks amazing. Gosling and Crowe, come on, man.
Russell Crowe, of course, but yeah, it'll be fun.
I mean, I'm excited. I think
it'll be fun.
I think I want to watch it in the theater because it reminds me of American Ultra. It's that brand of of humor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even though I might not recommend to go see it in the theater because I'm not necessarily convinced that it's a movie theater film, I'll probably end up seeing it in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brothers Grimsby. So I gotta say, the second time watching this trailer, I was a little more of a fan.
Oh, I was like, what was that even? Didn't really stick with me.
No? There's a piece of me that I'm like, man, it might end up being good.
Like, that's probably something I'll legitly watch on Netflix if I'm bored.
Well, I'll definitely watch it.
Maybe running a battleground while watching it.
I don't think I could do it in the theater.
I don't think so either. I don't feel like it really held enough. I feel like Sacha Baron Cohen's character was just fucking annoying.
Yeah, it's like his look.
His
look seriously turns me off.
And I know that's
what he does.
That's the style in that sense, but I was more annoyed by him. I like that other guy that's always the bad guy.
Yeah, The bad guy in Kick-Ass.
Yeah, but
God, he was so good in that movie. Deadpool. New trailer for Deadpool. This was the green band version, not the red band, which I'm kind of shocked because it was a Tarantino film, so you'd think they would just show the red band. But green band trailer is okay. The red band trailer is amazing. She has. I don't think you've seen the red band yet. I'll have to show it to you.
I'm gonna start limiting myself on multiple trailer watching.
What do you say though? I mean,
I know we're gonna go see it.
You know we're gonna go see it, but would you want to? Is the question.
If it wasn't Ryan Reynolds,
I'll leave poor Ryan Reynolds alone. Actor avoidance syndrome. Yes, 101.
It's hard. It is hard in this one.
I definitely want to see it. I actually have high expectations now, believe it or not.
I mean, since they're touting off that this ain't your regular comic book movie. All right, I'm gonna hold you to it.
Yeah, exactly. If they don't deliver, there will never be another comic book movie like this.
It'll be smashed apart. Yep. So they better do it right.
13 Hours, the Benghazi story.
So for me, I'd probably watch this movie not in the theater, maybe on like TBS after they play Bad Boys.
I can see why somebody would want to see this in the theater because it definitely is going to be a movie that lends itself to movie theater style viewing. But man, it's like, why do you show me so much? And I know that it's a true story, so it shouldn't really matter. But like, God bless. Hang on, gotta turn the air off.
But it's cold and sun.
I mean, it's like, guys, why do you have to show a beat for beat? I don't want to see it now. Like, I could have maybe wanted to see it, but
I thought we watched it.
It's like,
I think that's
why I didn't watch the SEAL Team 6. I didn't watch that movie either.
Oh, I didn't. No.
Yeah. So 13 Hours. Jim looks great with a beard. That much is true. Yep. He's doable. Jane Got a Gun. Stupid name.
I don't like the name. I think that's the first thing I was like, why?
Stupid name. Like,
was every Western female's name Jane?
I don't care that her name's Jane. I would have preferred the movie just be called Jane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, Jane Got a Gun.
I guess we got to remind people that Jane's got a gun.
It's just,
I don't like it. I don't know.
But the preview I think looked pretty good. Yeah? No?
I'm kind of torn on it.
Man, Ian McGregor.
I feel like it's gonna be slow.
That's
what I feel like it's gonna be slow.
Most westerns are kind of like.
That's true.
They're paced like what we watched last night.
But I don't know. I mean, isn't that the movie that had so many issues with even getting made in the first place?
I heard about some stuff, but I don't have any details.
Well, peanut butter and jelly.
So, I probably still would even as much as I think the trailer was good, I probably wouldn't watch it.
I'm not gonna watch it. Yeah. Oh, I love you, McGregor.
Well, we'll watch it. It's just probably not at the theater, unless.
Yeah, no, not at the theater.
Unless we're getting paid to review movies at that point. Can you believe we're still not getting paid to do this? I know, right? Moving on. All right, so we got the movie. Let's jump right into it, man. So setup for the film is you got Samuel L. Jackson being found in the middle of the wilderness. He's a bounty hunter. Kurt Russell is with Jennifer Jason Lee. And they pick up Samuel L. Jackson, and then they pick up Walter Goggins, I believe his name is. And then they all end up in a cabin. And the thing, like, I called this way back when. I was like, oh, it's like Reservoir Dogs in the West. And it does have some...
It's almost like a big
borrowings.
Yeah, almost like a big old Clue game in a sense. It's just like, who did it? And what's happening? Yeah. What's going on? Who are we rooting for? Who are we not rooting for? What?
And wouldn't you say Res Dogs is kind of that way?
Yeah.
Not nearly as much because this definitely maintains its mystery for a lot longer than like Res Dogs did.
It really did, because I was really trying to figure it out I'm like, what is the
I know, I'm sitting there
what
like...
What is the meaning of this? What's going to happen?
Throughout the film, I'm like, okay, no spoilers yet. I'm like, okay, who was pouring coffee when? You know what I mean?
Like trying to solve it before they tell you.
So it was very good.
If you solved it or can solve it before they tell you, let me know, because I want to know exactly how you were thinking and when you thought it, when you caught it.
So the simplicity of the setting is something that is just miraculous to me. You know, essentially you have two sets. You have the carriage at the beginning, that like interior sets, I mean. So you've got the carriage at the beginning, and then you have the interior of the cabin. And that's where the majority of the movie takes place. There are some exterior stuff that happens here and there, but by and large, that's where the movie takes place. And I think filmmakers are scared to try movies like this anymore because you don't see them. You know what I mean? Like, you remember that movie, The Exam? That was the last one I can think of that like was just like, you know what? We're gonna shoot everything in a room. It was executed so well. Like, God, there were times in this where you said at one point that you were cold, and I was like, well, it's not cold, but I kind of feel cold too. And then I was like, is it because of what I'm watching?
The movie made you feel cold, but no, it really did get cold in that theater.
Did it?
But yeah, even when we left, I was like, why do I feel colder? I mean, I felt like you were cold the entire movie, like those big old warm comfies, but like the blizzard. And I'm like,
and then it was like they would show them drinking the coffee and feeling better, and I was like, yeah, okay.
I know. I felt like I was drinking the coffee and eating the stew.
Seriously, and it was like just that facet of it was so awesome, and the way, you know, not trying to jump ahead, but like the way he moved the camera inside of the cabin, like
I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, what? How do you even think? And this is where I guess I'm so behind the scenes, it's not funny, but like a lot of the shots that happen, I'm just like, how did they even think to do it that way? Mm-hmm. Like, what? You know, and like the focus points, like I know I've seen them do it before, but just like focusing and then doing something over, like, and
then racking over, and then
it's really interesting. I'm like, how did
the timing of some of these shots too, and I guess really that we've done the simplicity. Like, one whole topic I wanted to mention that it just took place in two areas,
and that's what it shows, is that when stories stand out, it can be in a simple setting.
Yeah, you could shoot in this living room as long as you got something interesting to do.
Shoot in your bathroom, you know? As long as you got a story.
Seriously, I mean, well, you know, I guess maybe Saw is kind of ish that way, but they go outside with a bunch of flashbacks and whatnot.
They start to expand.
So it doesn't. Too much. Yeah, it doesn't count quite the same. So we're gonna come back to cinematography. It's something that I really do want to talk about. Let's go to the acting though. So, who did worst?
Is that even possible in a Quentin Tarantino film?
Who was the worst actor? Good luck.
Tarantino don't hire no worsts. He don't. But honestly, did Channing Tatum really have it? Did he really contribute at all?
So we can't. We at some point we'll let you know. Like, there's spoilers, but right now is not that time. Channing Tatum's in the movie. It's not that's not a secret. Who he plays is a secret, and he's okay. But he's most certainly not great.
He's not.
He is not like everybody else.
He's not there yet, bros. Not there yet.
And at least part of it too for me was his look.
It was really annoying.
I was like, you're just too pretty to be in this film with everybody, you know? Like,
no matter what they did with his teeth and contacts and.
Like, he was manicured even.
I hated his accent. I hated the way he talked.
The way he combed his hair was really slick, you know? Like, he was pretty. And I'm like, I'm not saying that pretty people don't exist in the Old West, but it just... If they had done more of a transformation on him...
Yeah.
Which, half the fucking movie... I thought that he was Bob. I was like, that's got to be him, because the way that they had it, like the way they had Bob, like, you know, wrapped up and everything, and like I was starting to just see it because I wanted to see it. You know what I mean? I was like,
no, is it? The way he was talking, like he barely even talked. No,
you,
senor.
You calling me a liar?
Mom.
I'm not calling you a liar. It certainly sounds like you're calling me a liar.
But yeah,
I know it sounds that way, but I ain't called you a liar yet. It's one of my favorite lines in the film.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, totally to me, Channing Tatum, it's just a little bit of a distraction.
He wasn't. It's not like he was terrible by any stretch of the imagination. It's just like when you are sitting next to Samuel L. Jackson and Kurt Russell and Tim Roth and Jennifer Jason Leigh, like these incredibly seasoned actors. Like Channing Tatum, I'm sorry, but he's more of a celebrity than an actor. And
there is a difference.
These people could have spit him out, you know. So again, he did good. But
maybe Quentin Tarantino saw something in him.
Well, I would like to see what Tarantino does with him next, because clearly he's going to be used again.
Right.
You know.
Because that would suck to be, unless it's really bad review, and then he might not. But maybe he made a good impression on him.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think Tatum's gonna get railed here. Like, I'm not even trying to rail him. I'm just saying, if you have to pick out a weak link, it's gonna be him in the acting.
Right.
So who's the best?
That question is not allowed in the Tarantino film. Not allowed.
Neither one. I've got my favorite.
Here's the thing. This is what I enjoyed the most. And what I enjoy the most in general about Tarantino films is that when they're acting, when they're talking, when they're having these dialogues, it's like I'm watching a play. Like, I don't see the cut. I don't see anything. I see how smooth and natural everybody is when they do their part. And it's just like, did they even cut half the time when they're doing their dialogues? Oh, yeah. See, that to me is probably one of the coolest things as an actor, to be able to perform so almost seamlessly that even if there are cuts, that you don't lose your audience's focus. They still are entailed in it. And that's what I felt watching this.
Well, you know, it's so let's investigate that real quick. So you have somebody like George Lucas, right? Mm-hmm. Who is so focused on the technical aspect, he just completely forgets about his actors, which is what happened in the prequels, right? Which is why everybody rails the prequels, says the Wooding's the acting is wooden, and so on and so forth. Then you've got who'd be the antithesis of that? Woody Allen, right? Now I don't know if you've seen many Woody Allen films, but he could really care less about the technical part, and he's focused all on the acting.
Always on the acting.
Then you've got somebody like Quentin Tarantino that can so seamlessly put them together. He can get the best performances. And I'm at the risk of sounding like a fanboy, because I'm not a Tarantino fanboy, even though he is one of my favorite directors. I don't just like look at his work and go, he's amazing. For example, I don't like Jackie Brown at all. I don't like that film. So for those of you who watched our Rotten Tomatoes, that's the movie that rates far lower than Death Proof, in my opinion.
And only by happenstance.
So yeah, and it's only because I
like Death Proof better than Jackie Brown.
So there you have it.
But I still like Jackie Brown.
But I don't like Jackie Brown at all. So I'm not just like this, oh God, everything Tarantino does is by the breath of God. I'm not like that. All right. So that being said, he is so masterful at putting together the acting and the technical.
And it's almost like because he's worked with all of them before. It's like, do you think they already like know like how they're gonna do, or do they, since they already know like each other in a sense, like do you think they're just like, this is how I'm gonna do it? And they just do it. Do you think Quentin has to really direct them?
I instinctively say that there is a lot of good pre-production where before they ever get on set, they've gone over everything together. And like Tim Roth, for example, I can imagine would go, I want to play the character more cheeky. Mm-hmm. And maybe Tarantino had originally thought of him as being a little more sinister. But then, I'm sure it would, if what I'm saying is true, then he would have said, well, show me what you mean. Tim Roth, blah, 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 blah. And Tarantino's like, well, how about we do a little bit of this and that, and then blah, 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 blah. And then when they get on set, they never even have to talk about it. You know what I mean? That would
It's
be
just
my
like,
guess.
Action.
Exactly. So, personally, back on topic here, the acting, I think the strongest performance, hands down, came from Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson is such a hit or miss actor because he takes
Half the time he's himself, in a sense.
Yeah, sometimes
even
he is
himself,
just Samuel L.
Yeah.
He
But he's almost the same. Almost a quick-witted snaps. Very, very dominant.
Yeah, he snakes on a plane. Like any movie that he's in, more or less, he snakes on a plane. It's rare that he does a Pulp Fiction or this. There are a handful of other films. Attica would be one that I can think of. So, in this movie, holy shit, did I forget about him being just an actor. You know what I mean?
Because I felt like it fit within the part that he was playing.
I mean, it was... He was so good. And you know what? I think he was lying. We'll touch on this in story, but I think he was lying to that old man.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he was.
I think it's possible too.
I think he was lying
because
to that old
he
man.
knew something was wrong the second he stepped, before he even got into the haberdashery. He knew something was wrong.
Yep.
And so he was just trying to plan it out.
It was it was like, God, there's so many great scenes.
There really are.
We could turn this into the Movie Holics meetup of a 2-hour discussion, but I'm going to try not to do that. So let's move forward. Do you have a favorite actor in this film? Maybe don't say the best, but do you have a favorite?
I mean, they all did so well. It's funny because Walter Goggins is like that guy. What's that? That extra
That guy
thing?
from that thing?
That guy from that thing. And he has really kind of outdone himself. I'm really impressed. I know he's really grown, but it's like he never really had a shot. And I think now he's had his, we all watched him on Sons of Anarchy. That was like, I think this last real thing. But this was his shot, and he really does stand out, but he's not a celebrity.
And he was in Django, which I completely forgot about.
Was he?
Mm-hmm. But it was a smaller part,
Mm-hmm.
And then of course he gets cast in this because of that, clearly.
Right.
And I'm so glad he had a larger part, because he finally got to. I mean, he's always been like the bad guy, like he's always like the nameless like thug,
Mm-hmm.
He's always like the nameless thug, and it's like I've always
the guy
wondered,
with the teeth.
yeah, and
all those damn teeth.
Finally he got a chance,
and I think he really did a good job.
And he did a great job. Yeah, he did.
So just his banter, his meaningless banter, was just just thinking about it. It was just so funny because I'm like, is he acting or is he just being like? Like I said, it was just all so almost seamless to me that I was just like, I was enjoying every bit of conversation that went on amongst everybody.
Oh, gotta love it. So would you say that Goggins was your personal favorite?
I think he was.
All right, fair enough. I can't fault anybody for picking anybody.
No, not
even
at
if
all.
you said Channing Tatum, I'd have to be like, well, I get it,
because everybody did
everybody had a place, man. They had such everybody had
fit.
such a place, and it was just it was woven together so well. All right, so let's talk about the story real quick. Now we're gonna kind of start bordering along spoiler territory. So if you haven't seen it, I mean, it's not like anything could really ruin the experience, I think, because I think the movie's going to speak for its own. But it will change some things if you continue past this point.
Yeah, it'll really, yeah.
So just keep that in mind. Okay, so we're two bounty hunters, Kurt Russell, Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson has 3 dead bodies that he's going to turn in for bounty. And then Kurt Russell is the hangman. He's taken Jennifer Jason Leigh to Red Rock, where she will be hung until dead. And then they wind up in this cabin, and this insane drama / comedy / murder mystery ensues. And I mean, again, spoiler alerts. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get out of here. Like the coffee scene where two people get poisoned. Kurt Russell and
Obi.
It was Obi, but God, Parks. Not Michael Parks, but the other Parks, the son of Michael Parks. Anyways, they both die, and I was like, what? I expected Obi, but Kurt Russell?
No, I knew someone was gonna roll out first.
I mean, sure, but I kind of expected I didn't know where it was gonna go, but I half expected a shootout between Kurt Russell and Samuel L. Jackson by the end of the film. You know what I mean?
Right, and ultimately, that would have sucked. That would have sucked.
It would have sucked. Like, you wouldn't have liked it.
I wouldn't have liked it because it would have been too cliche.
Okay, fair enough.
As a Western, looking at this as a Western.
Okay, fair enough. But this is the way it went instead. So the story is a very, again, going back to simplicity. It's so basic. Mm-hmm. It's just like, how do you make people in the West after the Civil War in a room interesting? And it's like, just have them talk about the shit that they used to do. Have the old fucker talk about, killing the N-words.
Everybody know everybody, and everybody's heard of everybody.
Everybody.
I think that's what made it more fun, because it's like, how you know? You know?
Now there's a level of disbelief that you have to get past, and in order to be like, okay, yeah, all these people would end up in the same place and know each other, because it probably wouldn't work out that way. But if you can get past that point of it, that one point of disbelief, you'll enjoy this film, man. The dialogue between them. There's a scene where, what we were talking about earlier, where Samuel L. Jackson is telling a story to doggy's barking. Dreaming over there. There's a scene where Samuel L. Jackson is talking to Bruce Dern about killing Bruce Dern's son and the things that he did, which included very disgusting fellatio. But man, Samuel L. Jackson telling that story, I was like, I don't want nothing to do with him.
It was pretty intense.
It was crazy.
It's like everybody had their deep down animosity,
dude,
and they let it through what they were saying sometimes.
And everybody had a moment where they got to talk like that too.
Yeah,
like
everybody had their.
Bruce Dern had his moment when he was really going in about like killing the people in North Carolina or whatever. And then Jennifer Jason Leigh had her moment towards the end when she was talking about everybody that's going to come from Red Rock to kill them. Let's see, what was Kurt Russell's moment? Did Kurt Russell owned half the film, I guess.
Yeah, he had a lot of moments. I mean, him just being the major investigator in the first place, him questioning everybody.
Now, I will say, I started disliking his character. Like, I started off liking him okay.
Pompous arse.
But then it got to a point, I'm like, God, you're a dick.
Sit the fuck down. Nobody wants your bounty.
Which, he was right. It's the funny thing. They all wanted her.
Everybody want that bounty. Everybody. And it's funny because as intent as he was on knowing everybody that he's chilling out with, he didn't watch a damn thing. He still got poisoned.
Nope, he still got poisoned. Careful. All right, so then now to bring in Channing Tatum again. Spoilers here. Like this is like the biggest spoiler of the movie because Channing Tatum is still like not sworn to secrecy. I'm sure that he would owe a lot of money if he broke silence. He probably has like a month long that he's got to like keep his mouth shut. And
he would never be invited back ever again.
Exactly. So again, spoilers. Leave. For the love of God, if you care. If you don't, stick around. So Channing Tatum ends up being in the floor the whole time.
And he shoots Samuel L's nuts off.
And he shoots Samuel L's nuts off. Literally.
What?
And it happens so quick. I was
It
like,
really did. I'm like, what?
whoa!
Wait a minute. Did we just take another turn somewhere? I don't know where we're going.
Seriously. Now it's funny because I thought towards the beginning of the film that I was like, somebody's on the floor because Samuel L. Jackson looked down and saw the jelly bean.
Mm-hmm.
And that ended up not being what I thought it was. It was
but I'm
just,
pretty sure if we watch it again, we'll notice.
There might be some of those little things. Man, it was crazy when it happened. And so he ends up being the brother to Jennifer Jason Leigh, and everybody's there to essentially rescue her because they're a gang and blah 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 blah. And it doesn't end well for him, for the record.
Anybody.
And so then I was totally sold on that part, but when Channing Tatum started talking, I was like, okay.
But then the flashback happened.
And
And I was just like...
That was a pretty crazy flashback, too.
It really was. Because it made you feel like you were watching, like, CSI or Criminal Minds.
Because we knew what was going to happen.
All these things that we were already watching were placed there from the previous events to, and it's just like, uncovering everything.
Yep, it all started to make sense.
The stupid door. You need 2 pieces of wood.
Close the fucking door!
Who broke the door?
What
it's like,
fucking idiot broke this goddamn door?
So many things like coming together, to tell the entire story. And yeah, it was funny.
It was great. I wonder why his character wanted to hide on the floor versus just being there. And so this is one thing that I thought story-wise. I was like, why didn't they just shoot him the moment they got there? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
The whole movie.
But I guess they didn't expect all those people. But still, it's like if they were that badass, they could have just took it. That's exactly what I thought when I was just like. They could have just shot them when they came in the door.
Yeah, Kurt Russell would have never known. Kurt Russell never would have known. But what are you gonna do?
It's a story.
It's a plot hole, sure, but I mean, I'm not saying it couldn't happen. Yeah. There are idiots out there who are badasses that come up with
just want to like toy around with somebody,
Okay, so I don't have anything else to say about the story. Moving on to cinematography.
Moving on
to cinematography. So. This movie opens with what are called overtures, all right? It's an intro, and it's a long intro. And those were some of the most beautiful shots, like that. They were so mesmerizing. I didn't care that we sat on them too long, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it was really, I guess, like a nice reminder of the beauty in scenery in general.
That opening shot, man, on the Jesus, I didn't even realize what I was looking at first. I mean, I could tell that it looked like an old man carved into some wood. Mm-hmm. And then it so slowly pulls out that you don't even realize it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you go, that's Jesus. And then you see now this might have been a special effects shot, but then you see that carriage behind them. Mm-hmm. And all I could think was that it wasn't a special effects shot, that Tarantino timed it all. And holy shit, the timing on it had to be perfect. Such a long shot. Cinematography in this movie was just amazing. You said that you didn't even realize when the cuts were happening. That's because the acting was engaging, the cinematography was brilliant, and the editing was brilliant. They all three came together to be just a seamless, cohesive product. And God, the cinematography. This is the one thing that I really geek out on. Now, I do have one gripe, which was not something, I told you this gripe already. It's not a distraction to you, right?
Right.
So, and I'm not saying that it's a distraction. I'm just saying that it's if I have to nitpick something that I would have changed, it's like the inside of the cabin is so brightly lit all the time. They don't have electricity in Wyoming at this point in time. So everything's lit with oil lanterns, and it was just so lit. It was just so lit. And you could see that, I could see the lights forming on tables. They form them with what's called a snoot, right? Which is so you got your big light like this, and then there's a snoot that there's this black cover that goes around the light, and then there's a little hole that goes. Let me show you.
A snoot.
So this is going to be a really crude snoot. All right. So you'd wrap it around the light. So your big part of the light comes in here, right? You see that? Boom, on the light. Boom. Little light comes out, right? Pretty basic. Think of it as a cone, right? You do that so that you can narrow the beam of light into something usable, and that's what they did on all of those tables. And I was just like, come on, they don't have anything that can do that. Like,
I like that, and that's what I think that's why it didn't bother me, because it felt like I was watching a stage play. Because that's what you do. You'd have the light in different portions, you know, letting you know the scene is still there. You know, almost like background work.
Right.
But I liked it, and so it didn't bother me.
Well,
but I like that they had focused on everybody, because maybe we should have been watching everybody.
Fair enough. Again, it's just one of those things.
Understandable.
If I had done it, it would have been darker and oranger, you know. But it is what it is. I'm just sitting here with you talking about the movie. Somebody else made it. Do you have anything else to say about cinematography?
No, not at all. Like I said, just everything moved where it should be. Like I said, I felt like I was reading a book. Sometimes you watch a movie and you think, oh, this would have been a great book. Like, I feel like this was a book I was reading.
Who knows?
Honestly.
It could be adapted. All right, so hot topic issue. The violence in this movie versus the violence in cinema. Because you know every Tarantino film that comes out, everybody's always bitching about the violence. Is it a violent movie?
Yes and no. Because the violence I feel like isn't anything different than you've seen in Western movies. You know, like Last of the Mohicans, like Indians being scalped and things like that. Like, I feel like it just was about the same time. You know, it's showing things like that did happen, you know?
I think specifically people have a problem with the gore of it. And, you know...
And I didn't think it was that gore. I mean, I understand some parts, but it's like...
There were some parts that were pretty gory. But the thing is like, first off, when you go see a Quentin Tarantino movie, you need to know you're getting yourself into a violent film. Every time. I've never seen Quentin Tarantino do a film that was a romantic comedy. Right? I don't think that you're ever going to get that out of him. I think his films are always going to be violent. They're always going to... And see, people say this. They say... It glorifies violence.
It does not.
Celebrates violence. And I just don't understand even that pairing of words. Like, even the most violent film, like, take a Hostel, for example. People would say the same thing. But how does that glorify or celebrate violence? Just because it has violence? You know, like...
Some people just want to be sad about something.
I have a different opinion of what glorify and celebrate mean, I guess. You know what I mean?
Haters gonna hate.
So is this film violent? There are violent parts in this movie.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I feel like it wasn't unnecessary. I feel like it went along with what we are watching, the story is doing. And I feel like because it was going along, it wasn't going to be something stupid like, oh, let me fake shoot a gun and you fall down and stuff like that. I feel like it was legit and it added to realism.
People would say that you could cut away from someone getting their head blown off. Why do you have to show it? What do you think about that? See, so this is something a few years ago that I can't remember who said it. I'm stealing it for the purpose of this, but it was a. I feel like it was a thesis paper or something where somebody talked about the danger of PG-13 movies that had violence. They have the same violence with none of the consequences. So, like, you see people get shot, you see no blood. Mm-hmm. And that's damaging to a child who might watch it, right? Because they don't see the consequence of what shooting somebody does. You definitely see the consequences of shooting people in this film.
That's true.
100%. So it's an interesting thought, but see, it's just not any more violent. None of his movies have been any more violent than anything else to me.
I mean, like, you see just as much, probably worse violence than that on TV in general, just regular TV shows.
Just
that
like
come
talk
on
about
now.
just like CSI, where most of the violence is implied. You know what I mean? Like,
right. You know, Criminal Minds probably has the most. Criminal Minds and Law
they get
and Order.
insane.
Special Crimes or SVU, the one with sex crimes, like those have the most intense.
Look at Breaking Bad,
things like that on TV.
Yeah.
It's like,
or Sons of Anarchy, like, you know, like his movies are typically violent, yes, but are they any more violent? And should it bug you? If it bugs you, man, don't go see his film.
Right.
And then keep your kids from it.
It's
don't be like, I don't want my kids exposed. Get a hold of your kids then.
I know. Snatch your kids up.
Right? Snatch your kids
That's
up.
the biggest thing that annoys me, because people always feel like they got trying to protect somebody when they can't even protect their own. Like, nope, not doing it right now. But that's what it is people just being mad about it. It's like, then you don't take your kid. You take...
Pretty basic here. By the way, the first stupid fucker that takes their kid to Deadpool and then gets pissed off about it being violent, I'm doing a video about you.
Pow, pow.
I will straight call you out on the internet and do a video about you.
I can only imagine, like...
It's gonna happen. There's gonna be at least one. He's like, I took my kid to a superhero
I'm surprised
film.
we ain't seen an N-word article on this. Like,
yeah,
what was
that's
the other movie that...
Django. Django gets
I have to
railed
say it so many times
for the N-word. I wonder how many times it was used here. I felt like it was used more
lot
unnecessarily
more, yeah.
than in Django. Django, it made sense. It made more sense to me. And there were times in this movie where it was used, and I was like, it should be. Like, anytime Bruce Dern said it, I was like, well, he's an ex-general of the Confederacy, you know? Anyways, Insubation. Don't take your kids to this movie. I mean, unless you're okay with them seeing violence, and that's fine. If there's nothing like overly sexual or anything, my dad probably would have taken me to this movie when I was young. So, anyways, last couple things. Do you think that there are any connections to his previous films? There's at least one I know, and it's the brand of cigarettes that's being smoked. So everything takes place in the same universe. Red Apples. It's been his cigarette that are in his movies it's an invented brand. See, I wondered, like, I started looking up character names last night from Django. I'm like, maybe Walter Goggins is the same person. And I'm like, no, it's not, because he dies in Django. But then I was like, maybe there's I was searching so hard. You think he's got anything like that?
I think it's very possible. Very possible.
I would love for one of these people to end up being the father of Samuel L. Jackson from Pulp Fiction. Not father, but like great-great-grandfather.
It probably is. That'd be hilarious.
I would love for that to happen.
That's what I don't doubt. I don't doubt at all that something like that is.
It's so fun. I wonder what his next thing is going to be. Like, if 20s crime flick, you know, something like that. Or I would love to see him do something super modern and like rugged, like The Hood or something. You know what I mean? Like something like End of Watch. You remember End of Watch? Mm-hmm. If he had a movie like that to do, God, it would have been insane. Anyways, that was just kind of a throwaway. I just wanted to kind of briefly touch on it. Final thoughts? Anything?
It was really good.
It was
really good. Like, it
was really great.
And I think that's why I didn't have an issue going to it so late, because I'm like, it'll be good.
I never got tired. Not like as late as it was. I never got tired. I was engaged the whole time.
Total engagement entire time.
3-hour film. Totally engaged.
And I think everybody should see it.
Yep. Especially if you're a Tarantino fan, you're gonna love this movie. If you're not a Tarantino fan, you could still love this movie as long as you're okay with violence. There's not that much in it comparatively to his other films, though. That was one other thing I meant to say. It gets violent, but it's towards the latter third of the film. Yeah. The most part, it's like she said it best. Like, it's like a fucked up game of Clue. Anyways, that's all I got.
That's all I got.
Boom. So make sure, what do you guys think of this? Have you seen the video or the movie? Make sure once you see it, come back and let us know what you thought about it in the comment section below. As always, you can hit us up where?
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, MoviePilot.
Nope. I mean, we are on MoviePilot, but movieholics.net is where you should go if you want to leave us a question or anything. Because our 200th video is coming up, and it's going to be great. Yes, it is. We're going to do a little State of the Union address to all of our subscribers. Yeah. So yeah, that's all we got, guys. I think this has been good enough to high five it out.
High five it out.
One here. Boom. 2 here.
Whee! Frankie Beans. Just so you know your name. I've called her Frankie